the African crow. The African crow is represented as the blackbird returning from the crossroads.
Okay.
So type in, go to the crow, type in quotes. Go to quotes to the Google, type in crow quotes. Because at the end of the day, it got to take us back to who is God. Mother behind it. You can either read it there, or you can go to a fancy picture of it.
All right. That's dropping it right there.
So
You know
Eric, look, Eric Draven, right? Now look at the name. Eric in Akkadian is Europe. It means fire. The D is the fourth letter, but it represents a loaf in Kemet. This would be a D, would be a loaf of bread, right? And then you got Raven. Raven represents the bird. So the bird coming in on the 4. The 4 is the 4-corner shuffle, which is the 4 winds. And the 4 winds is setting the world on fire.
Go ahead.
And Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all children.
Boom. It's like that bomb effect right then.
Do you understand? Morphine is bad for you. Your daughter is out there on the streets waiting for you. Quote the motherfucking Raven.
Oh, yeah.
So even the one that comes back for the Sibyls, see it?
Yeah.
With the black crow, right? From the African side, they come over here, and these sisters came out of a different house. You got the mama bear, right? You got the mama of the pumas, which we would call a Afeni Shakur, which would be a Black Panther, a chief in stealth.
Go ahead.
Right? So all of these mothers get together to restore the matriarchy in order to protect the children for the next 7 generations. So now you understand how we got to where we was. So the 7 is the 7th son, which that'd be me, the 7th seed of the 7th seed of the 7th seed, off a 5%er, Rakim Allah, born with 3 7s in my head. The one can seem to blow your mind as far as this, to find you need philosophers and anthropologists, professors and scholars from the smartest colleges and all of that shit. I had to get a couple of them in there.
Yeah, hey, bars. You know what I'm saying? This is knock on hey, this the knock on the north gate, man. This the knock on the north gate right here.
Okay, so now
I'm straight.
Now we know that the zodiac seat center is Big Mama's seat, and that the 12 sisters is the Sibyls. Now, what we don't know about the Sibyls is why they call them that. The term schizophrenia comes from the Sibyls. The Sibyls were synced telepathically one with another, all with the Divine Mother. Right? And once they are all synced, they are on the same psychic network to pass information instantly from their region of the world. And that's what it was called too, Isis Magic. It's the magic
Right
of the sisters, what we call the birthright to the earth rights, which is the rituals of the birth priestesses, the rituals of the yoni priestesses to maintain the vaginal health of the planet, which is also female. Right? In some cultures, we describe things in reverse or upside down, and that's where they deceived us because they had us thinking south was down and north was up, never knowing that the ice princess comes from the underworld. And the underworld is the land of ice, and the land of ice is called the Northland. Right? And the Northland is the land of the ice princess, which is the Isis of the pole, the North Pole. You see? And these are the 8 points that makes up the house of Isis, meaning the 8 points of study. They give you 8 points of study in order to raise people up using matriarchal rules that was usurped. Right? So, from when you understand how to read the stellar clock and the earth clock, then you know how to understand the movement of the people in order to locate you who you're looking for. And there's always a clue. Because in your life, your book of life got clues. Like Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs.
Mm-hmm.
You know you left them for yourself, but you don't remember where you left them until you get to them. And for some odd reason, you have to pay attention. Right? So the great work, the Magna Carta, is the orders of the Magna Mater. And the Magna Mater is the home house of the Great Mother, Big Mama house. Over here, type in Iroquois Longhouse. Over here, Big Mama's house was called the Longhouse, or the Big Mama's house, and it was the biggest house on the property. Commonly became known as the Longhouse under the transitional tribes forming up the Iroquois. Most of these names, like Iroquois, is not a native name. That's French.
Right.
We weren't French until the Blackamoors brought French over as a language. Right? And the Longhouse was Big Mama's house. Right? Let's look and see if we can see what the inside look like, Elder.
Like a whole bunch of people.
That first picture. Click that first picture right there. Yeah. So in our culture, when we used to have family gatherings, you had a men's quarters and a women's quarters. And then you had a private suite for couples to spend their time with each other if they married, away from the gathering. Now, over here in the Longhouse, when you see a Longhouse like this is a war barrack.
Okay.
Right? And the reason it's a war barrack is the layout. If it was a peacetime dweller, it wouldn't be laid out in this fashion. It would be laid out almost like a giant open loft house with furniture of different kind. This is all beds. This is all sleeping quarters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So this is the longhouse of war. Friendly pale faces penetrate. They start letting us into their institutions. They start sending our children to their children's educational systems with armed guard now. That means that's the people we sending in there, sending us the message back from the inside saying, hey, I got us a way in. Follow me. Go look at who marching with King.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna get out of this without getting the same motherfuckers that kicked their ass out of Europe to help you. So why not use it to your advantage? They using them to block you out of the institution. Open Ellis Island up and run it over, fill this motherfucker with friendly pale faces. We want every derelict you got. But in the end of 100 years, they're going to be the ones at the top of society that's going to be able to tell us who's doing what behind the scenes. And this is where you get a Donald Trump from.
The
or
disclosure.
John Lennon. Right.
Disclosure, yeah.
Right. Because they have to, we got to figure out how to get this information out to the chiefs on the land so one of us can figure out when do we exercise the blood right to reclaim the land. If we don't learn from what they telling us, flipping it out of their secret by watching the movements, this is why we be losing, because we not very good at watching the long game because we ain't too good at watching the short game.
We're easily distracted, and it seems that they know that, because it seems like every week there's some new level of something that's capturing our attention. If it's and I'm not making mockery of it, but the Shanquella Robinson issue, before that, the Kyrie and the Kit and the Ye. So it's like every week, every other week, there's a new something that captures our attention and takes us away from coming together. And because even those things that capture attention, there's debate. So it's not we're not unified in what we think we're seeing, or what if there's a message or what happened. So we're not working on unity. We're not working on restoration, because we don't need reparation. We need restoration. We need to be restored and made whole. We need to come together in order to do that. And it seems to me.
Okay, so this is why we tell our people to read the Indigenous Rights Act. The only way to overthrow that system is we have to go back to the system we had before they came.
True.
Which is an oral tradition. The mothers of the land they already starting, because they already sending me the messages that they reaching out to family members, discovering parts of their heritage they had never known before. And they found out what I said was right. We ain't come on no damn ships. We was already here.
True.
In a full bustling society. And they came and attacked us because they wanted what we had. But they didn't want our materials, because we use earthy shit. When we get ready to do a crown, Big Mama make you one out of feathers. We don't go smelt the gold into a crown. That's not the custom of the people from the Atlant, what we call the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
Our custom is everything we did, we tried to stay as close to nature as possible. So our royal garments is trinkets to the people from Europe, but they have royal significance to the people of the land, like the topaz. It's just a rock to them. It's a sacred stone to us.
Topaz, the stone topaz.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a sacred stone for us. And a lot of the topaz copper jewelry traced back to tribes from the Southwest. They was doing it for thousands of years. Those was the gifts they adorned their royalty with.
And I know in the Southwest they do a lot with turquoise.
And turquoise as well. Another sacred stone.
Yeah. Yeah. So, wow. So it's a whole it's been a whole conspiracy to destroy, like you said, our history, our reference to our whole genealogical past. They've rewritten it. they interjected themselves in places that they were not. I even learned or heard that they had even added maybe 290 some, and I heard anywhere from 2 something to 500 some years into the timeline when they started messing with the calendars in order to find a place to interject their various empires when, you know, they were, you know, the Roman Empire and the, I guess they're looking for the revived Roman Empire. That's what they think they're getting ready to do.
The Roman Empire had been the Catholic Church the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
The Catholic Church controlled the Crown of England, which was tied to the business district of Switzerland. Banking, international bankers. They used pale faces over there to hide the black nobility. The ones behind it that looked like us, that thought they got away until their ass got caught. They never nobody in a million years would have thought we'd figure out that they was using pale faces to block us out so they can claim to be us at the end. Right? We supposed to get mad, go on a bloody rampage, and kill all the pale people.
Oh, okay.
Right? So they won't stand next to us and say, kill Whitey, kill Whitey. And then when we get our shit, they gonna take it all and murder us. Because that's their oath. That's the oath of allegiance to themselves over anything that got to do with us. All these oaths are out in the open. It's not secret. I've been showing them on other shows so people will know that this is actually documented.
I've heard them talk about black nobility in other platforms, but they try to say in those platforms that when they show who's a part of this elitist group, they still don't look like us. They're saying black as not in the skin color, but black in the maybe in the deed or in their, because they're doing dark, you know, behind the scenes stuff, but they don't have.
They got the faces of the royal families called the black nobility on the family crests.
I always see them, you know, on their on the cameos and so forth. You see
they
those.
try to tell us as part of the white supremacist narrative that those was the slave traders.
Why would you put
the family that was the slaves that the family owned?
So why would you pick how would you pick one slave to be on your, you know, on your crest? Why would you do that? And that's the more prominent is that
right. So now you have to go research the art. When you go over there, you will find they got giant statues of Moors eating babies, literally.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
That's King of all kings right there. He the one made the alliance with Larry to create the Black Gangster Disciple Nation. It wasn't never supposed to turn out to be us versus us. It was supposed to be us against the machine.
Wow. Wow.
So King David was told the secret by the Jews because he was offering security to the fake Jews to protect them from the mafia, Irish mafia and Italian mafia in Chicago. So they wasn't allowed to come in our neighborhoods, but they could do whatever they want in theirs. Right? That's what segregation was all about.
Wow.
We didn't know we could go in their shit. That's why they didn't want us there. They wasn't allowed to come in our shit without our permission. We fought for integration, which ended up making us have to. Now the system say you can go wherever you want to go, disregard who you want to disregard, disrespect who you want to disrespect, and we gonna bag you up on that fuckery.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
Right? So what's going on right now? These is the ones who we sending in to get our shit back.
Okay.
Now, remember, go back to the Salem witch hunts, and it was a big mama teach the little pale girls yoni magic. Right? So, go to that ballroom dancing. See that?
Yep.
So the dancing instructions is the same. All that shit came from us. We invented ballroom, square dance, bop. All that shit come from us. Foxtrot. All them is, and all of these dances you see being done on the land is what you call ritual maintenance. Preserve the rituals in the common culture, so that the people from the original of oldest of times will always recognize the culture because they created it.
The salsa, all that. Yep. Shata.
So somebody said that they confused because the children of these people was already on reservations. You got to go back and recheck the story. They came over and was taught, but the adults that came with them, they didn't have to be taught. The children had to be taught. All you have to teach the adults is you have to go rehearse how to tell stories until they learn how to tell the story. With the children is the ones who can embody the information that you download into them. That's why you don't see a lot of adults around those children at those schools. Go back to the picture, Elder.
I got you.
Find me an adult.
And one of them pictures.
Now, you know, when we went to school, got our class pictures, it was our teacher was always in the picture. Who is the adult?
They ain't teaching the adult because it's the black. It's gonna show native adult nigga. That's what they gonna want to tell you. You know what I'm saying?
Most of these were taught by women. Women was teaching the dance classes.
Man, so hey, real quick question, man, because this right here, you just gave me some more pieces, Rod. So these, let me get
they ceremonial tribes. Anything that to overthrow this system, they gonna be the ones standing up because we too scared to do it. We don't believe in our power on the land, so we won't pool our resources. We're gonna fight against each other.
Okay.
All you got to do is show the children the path to victory, and they gonna push the adults out the side. So let's go on to some questions, Elder. If you got some questions you wanted to go over.
Oh yeah, I got you. So let me put this together. So they had this whole plan was to switch these people out with us, and they taught them how to be us. That's crazy.
No. Okay, so the slightest miss in the vision is this.
Okay.
They were going to replace us with them.
Go ahead.
But they was going to come over and they was going to be the indigenous people, but they was going to act like the white man.
Yeah.
So we the ones who's training them. Because we know that if we don't train them to imitate us, that we won't never be able to send nobody in to get our shit because our people not going to trust themselves.
Wow. Right.
And most of the leadership is just ceremonial leaders anyway. They're not even real leaders because they ain't most loved, most respected by nobody.
Wow. So hey, the first question I have for you, Rod, this right here, you just dropped a nuke on us right there. That's a nuke right there, man. You know, this right here piece right here, this is nail in the coffin right here, man.
Big Mama said, leave no stone unturned.
Oh yeah, you just turned over a big ass stone right there. You just made a big ass connection right there for me. Now you said you was talking about Jack Johnson, and how we was doing the phase of the fighting on the land, and you was talking about how the Jack Johnson really was the first dude that started getting. You had broke down his connection with us.
Yes. Okay. So look, when they came over here, they don't have no skills.
Okay.
Right now, remember they on the quest for one drop of blood.
Okay.
But in the quest for the one drop of blood, they got to develop into functional humans that can ascend. Yaku's grafted devil. They got to come up with their own ability to fight. When you look at now, you see how Jack Johnson fighting.
Yeah.
Okay, pull up. Type in the Great White Hope versus Jack Johnson and watch how the white boy standing.
Yeah, I got that picture right here, already up in there. Cause I heard you say something about the Great White Hope. It should be right up in here. Is it up in there? Right here. I think this is right here. Right here. Yeah, he's standing like
he holding it. You see how he holding his fist with the fisticuffs? Put him up even. That's because they had to learn how to develop this science. He already know it.
Yeah.
Jack Johnson was the first one they allowed to fight because they thought that they had a champion. I think this guy name was it Jess Willard? Anyway, they thought that they had developed their skills enough to challenge a real fighter from our fight camps. He came from Ethiopia war colony.
Go ahead.
They came over here to deliver something called a pyramid secret to the Nan Ether. They had to deliver that over here. He was what you call the child of a priest. So they taught him the boxing secrets. That's why Jack Johnson was excelling everybody. Right? And but his father or his caretaker or whoever brought him over here used him for the cover story. Because we got the Nan Ether, the Ether Utopia connection through the Holy Pibby and through the sacred parchment scroll of Black supremacy around the time he arrived. And that's Ethiopian doctrine. And that's going to tie us back to Haile Selassie. Now, the only thing we got to do is verify that Haile Selassie is not from bloodline of Israel. Because if we can prove that, then we can capture Nan Ether for the Earthborn. That's science for saying that we can take the science and we can use it and apply it. Okay, so now we're talking root black science.
Okay.
The science of the Black Dot, Dr. Richard King. The science of Mellon, Dr. Carol Byrne. Right? We're talking about social development of the mind of the children. Right? We got Haki Matabuti. We got Nathan, John, and Julia Hare. When we got Dr. Amos Wilson, Master of Masters in the psychological development of our children and understanding the problem. Once you understand the problem, you can get a solution. Dr. Neely Fuller, the United Independent Compensatory Code System for breaking the chains of white supremacy, is a direct affront to the 9 areas of people activity. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. And when you lay it all out, you understand that what we up against, we got to have a dog in every fight or we can't win. Right? So why did Clarence 13X leave the Nation of Islam? What was the conflict?
That's a good question. Go ahead.
Elijah sent him out, but it came out as a conflict because the chief never got to tell you really what to do. Once you understand the assignment, you do your part. Okay. Just do your part. You don't got to do everything because everybody got a part and we're going to work as a team. That's the critical part of warfare.
That's right.
Right? Once we realize what's going on, whatever they tell us to do, we just don't do that shit.
Okay.
Right? And whatever they tell us not to do, we might try to do that shit if it doesn't make sense why we shouldn't do it. That's called testing the system to see where it's strong and where it's weak. The general gonna read the moves, right? So when he come with the Nan Ether, Garvey bring it over for the Prince Hall Freemasons to set the Masons free. Right? That's why the UNIA is up, you mighty people, do what you will. We just brought you the science of the Nan Ether. With the science of the Nan Ether, you can unlock the highest consciousness, which is the Nan Ether gas forces of the ancestors that dwell in the soils of the earth. So we talking Mississippi red clay dirt. Look at my skin, Mississippi red clay dirt, right? Versus the pitch black dirt of the Nile. That's 2 different dirts.
Okay.
Right? So when they developing and they learning their skills, they have to learn in steps until they can master the muscle movement. And sometimes it takes generations. right? And just when they think Tommy Gunn was ready, Ray Mercer was mercilessly knocking his head into the ground. They thought they had another one.
Yeah, right.
The same with Jerry Cooney and Larry Holmes. They keep playing the same repeat. They finally got one. The Fury of Tyson came out as Tyson Fury. Right? And Deontay Wilder is relying on the one hitter quitter.
They cheat.
You can't rely on the one hitter quitter.
Go ahead.
Because if you only rely on the one punch man, then if you miss, you lost.
Yeah.
Right. So all these things is just putting together what we've been looking at culturally play out in the mainstream. Right. See, he don't hold his hands like those other fighters back then. That's how they used to hold their hands.
Like this, like Jack Johnson holding. He fight like orthodox. Well, yeah, I guess that'll be orthodox. So like he right.
Yeah.
So like orthodox is like one of the oldest because most people right-handed. It's only like left-handed is like rare.
So the Israelis the first one to develop a functional martial art. If you go to Google and type in Krav Maga, this was developed by the Israeli Secret Service to try to combat other forms. It's spelled with a K. K-A-V space Magra. M-A-G-R-A.
I got you. Right here.
Yeah.
Wow. I ain't even never heard of this style.
Yeah, so they take this in. This goes to the combat sports because you got to have these. You got to develop them so they can ascend. You can't leave nobody behind. Mama said you can't throw nobody away like trash. Right. So it took time to develop a people into their own. They had to get leadership because they was at the bottom the whole time. Right, because they came over as somebody else's servant, and we had to pay. The good had to pay with the bad. In order to get us all free, some of us had to go into voluntary servitude.
That's crazy.
In other words, we had to make a plea agreement.
That's what Big Mother Bear said, that some people went into slavery for us.
Yeah, that's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
It's the war. It's the war for the psyche, the mind of the people. As long as they don't believe who they is, they can't never they can't never redeem themselves. Everybody responsible for their own self first before you're responsible for the person next to you. Right. And once you understand that concept, you do the self work in order to make you better protection to the people next to you. This is OGT Rogers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. The Peace Stones, were they Bloods originally, or did they turn into Bloods when they got
Bloods formed before the Peace Stones knew that the Red House needed structure. He was sent by Angel Bay to go out to LA and help with the Red House in California. So this is how behind the scenes, these are the OGs that's building in the structure. All the tribes had to be in the position that if the structure is activated, everybody is supposed to know what their role is. Just by their structure. And the way theirs is it's an OG call.
Yeah, that's right.
If it ain't an OG call, then we ain't finna move on that. Right? Now if it's a triple OG call, now we listening.
Yeah, triple OG call.
Yeah, because now we got the real big homies in here.
3-star general.
And that's the most respected of the most respected right there. Them the ones that the niggas you respect.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? This is what this all about. So T. Rogers, he was also associated with some of the elders in the Panther Party from varying parts of California.
Okay.
Right. And so he took the structure given to him by Angel Bay, but it got to be the structure that fit the tribe that they came from. So when Chucky created the Crips, the default was the Bloods was going to have to form. Right. That's the default. That's so that just like the motherland got an army, the fatherland got an army. This Chief Malik Angel Bay, notice he got on Vice Lord colors. Black over gold. Right. That means he's concealed by the orders of Big Mama. Right. But he holding on to his grip on his post. You see? right over left.
Yeah, I see it.
Right, and his right hand over the left. That means the right hand is concealing the stone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So all of these OGs right here, most of them probably not here no more.
Yeah, they was rocking the fez and the full beard like Hebrews.
Mm-hmm.
So they
right now at this point in the struggle, Angel Base still trying to find out what's going on the land.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, where he at right now? Where you use that picture?
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It said that that's what I wanted to ask you too about this. Okay, it said it's right here in this document. They said that Ford is currently serving a 168-year prison sentence after being convicted of conspiracy and weapons charges in 1987 for a plot to commit attacks inside the U.S. in exchange for weapons and $2.5 million from Libya. Ordering a murder in 1980, they probably framed him for that too, and a conviction for drug trafficking in 1932. So they said the main part I'm looking at is they tried to say this brother was gonna make some money from Libya for doing a terrorist attack in the United States.
Okay, so I don't know if you remember when this went down, but around the same time, Muammar Gaddafi offered Farrakhan $5 billion to give us economic aid for our community.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. government told Farrakhan that if he take it, he got to register as a foreign agent.
What?
The problem is if he registers as a foreign agent, then they're gonna come in and arrest him as an enemy combatant, and he's gonna end up right where Angel Bay at.
Same thing. Yep.
Yep. So they didn't let him. They blocked him from getting the money, but it's more than one way to skin the cat. So this $2.5 million had nothing to do. If you go back to the city of Chicago, got a grant for him, and he was feeding kids with the grant money.
Mm-hmm.
Mayor Jane Byrne, I think is her name, brought him the check over on the west side of Chicago, and they came in a caravan. They rolled in a motorcade to bring him the check, and they seen what he was doing with the money. This when he was in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, he don't know what's going on the land. He just know he trying to help his people from an adverse condition.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then when he got out of prison in the 70s, they had sent him in there on some old trumped up bullshit. But anyway, when he got out, he went into juvenile first.
Mm-hmm.
When he came out to juvenile, he was a grown man. By now, Big Mama gave him marching orders as soon as he hit the streets. His job, he is the highest authority of law on the land enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
He is the chief mufti of the land, using the doctrine of Islamism.
Mm-hmm.
So if he is the chief mufti on the land, his job is to tear this bitch up if his people ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
Only his people left him hanging. He didn't leave them hanging. They left him hanging.
Man, wow. They got scared.
No, they just didn't know what to do. There wasn't enough thinkers in our community back then.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't even born during this time. So.
We had plenty of fighters, Elder.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a lot of thinkers. This is why the structure of the Nation of Islam, the structure for the Black Panthers became critical to teaching structure to the rest of the clans on the land.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we had to figure out how to restore and rebuild while they steady doing shit to us. They never stopped doing shit to us the whole time.
Setting us up the whole time.
They never stopped their COINTEL operations until they got finally shut down in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When Trump got on there. Yeah, Ford transferred to the newly opened ADX Florence Supermax prison, same prison as Larry Hoover and Baba. And you think that these niggas, all the same niggas that came out to Jeff Ford, came out to Larry and Baba. The same exact niggas, man. I'm telling you, bro. And he's still in prison right now for being framed and set up.
I hope he better not be still in there.
Who, Jeff Ford?
Yeah. We don't have to know he ain't in there, but he better not be still in there too. They gonna tell us.
Yeah, and
they gonna tell us.
he can't be like just like Bob and Larry Hoover. They really can't be in contact with nobody. Can't be in contact. You can't being under a no human contact order. They so scared of this dude. They don't want him to even fucking talk to nobody. Now that's crazy. They scared of this dude. That's really scary right there. They don't want this dude to even.
You know what the New York police said about Malcolm, right? No one man should have that much power.
Yep. And if they wouldn't, if Malcolm wasn't so far ahead in the game to go bring him, then he probably would have been in this prison too with them, right alongside of them. I'm telling you, man. Same niggas came out to Malcolm, came out to these niggas.
They was infiltrating us. See, that's how we knew that the war was in our community, was with somebody that looked like us.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you read Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, some of those settlements they talking about wasn't no pale faces there. Running shit. Who is these motherfuckers and why we can't see them?
That's right.
Tupac said it better than anybody. Tupac said it better than anybody I know. They say it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here.
Hey, Buckley said, shout out Buckley. I think it said Delilah. That's how you say her first name, Delilah. Chief Rod, did you ever get a chance to talk with Dame Calloway?
No, but we will. He doing his work. I'm doing my work. I'm watching him. He probably watching me, but we know what we're doing.
Oh yeah, it's working. It's coming all together, baby. But you just gave me another piece, Rod. That piece, that Indian training school, boy, they ain't gonna play that on the news nowhere ever. I'm telling you, bro. That's the end. That's. Ooh, they scared when you put that piece out. I'm telling you. They was hoping we never figured that piece out right there, bro. I'm telling you.
Man, I told you they can't trick me.
That piece right
there. I know my people, man. I know my people. I know why we will and won't move on certain shit.
That shit right there and like now, because I got into an argument with some $5 Indians and I was telling them, some of y'all mixed with Asian. I'm looking at them. They look Asian looking. And I'm saying y'all mixed with Asian. And then they came to the reality eventually. But
well, a lot of the Shoshones, so you got the last name Shaw. That's short for Shoshone. Right? And Shawnee. Those two tribes became the popular name Shaw. Too short. Old Mississippian off the Shoshone bloodline. So they marry Asians, a lot of Asians in their family as railroad workers. Right. So we got to know where everybody went. It's a trail. You just passed Angel Bay.
Yeah, Angel Bay. We talked about Angel Bay.
So
you say Tiffany Raymond made a connection with the Blue House. Go ahead.
So this right here is a monumental feat in our community that two brothers put their egos aside and say, me and you, dog, we gonna join and unite and figure this shit out together.
Wasn't no damn gang. We wasn't no gang. They turned us into gangs. We were tribal warriors.
A gang is a tribe.
Yeah, right. That's right. But they made a negative connotation of gang. Criminal. They put criminal with the word.
Right, by putting it in the news and spinning it with every foul deed that went on.
Propaganda.
We caught them back in 91 during the so-called Rodney King riots. In the peace treaty, the police dressing up like gangbangers to start wars.
Wow.
It just so happened that we caught them and Swiss cheese their ass. That's how we found out.
Wow.
They was undercover police.
Wow.
And federal agents masquerading as us. So they got their ass handed to them by them boys in the street. They don't know the boys in the hood is always hard. Come talking that trash, we'll pull your car. Want nothing in life but to be legit. But don't quote me, boy, because I ain't said.
That's right.
So all all of these clans forming around their own independent, self-raised leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Chucky didn't declare himself the chief. He earned that title by interacting with other Crips,
Mm-hmm.
expanding by his charisma and his influence over those who was nomads in the street,
Mm-hmm.
forming clans. Once he understood what was going on the land, then they staged the Geronimo Pratt scene and accused him of murder.
Yep. The Killer Clowns. COINTEL. So like
those training schools was on the path of the Trail of Tears in varying locations.
Wow.
Somebody asked that question in the comments, Elder. They was like, where was they?
Yeah. The training school,
they was in varying locations. Yeah, so you can probably do a Google search to find out the locations of all of them, because there was a lot of them on the land. That's what when they was going to Indian training school, all of the sisters that's supposed to have been teaching our children, they forced them out of the church to teach for them at the Indian training school under the threat of death. So we use it to our advantage.
Wow. Man, what you saying makes so much sense about why Tookie and both of these brothers, both of these dudes have a certain type of last name that tied them back into a certain bloodline. Like both of these dudes.
Williams is one of the largest family clans on the land.
Yeah, I'm a Williams and a Washington. But both of these dudes.
Washington is a Washita. Williams is a sub clan.
Mm-hmm.
Old Mississippian bloodlines.
Mm-hmm. Tookie Williams actually from the same city, and Raymond. They both from Louisiana. Well, not Raymond, because Raymond dad moved there later. And then I could trace. Look, I'm kin to George Washington Carver. I found out through tracing my history. I'm kin to George Washington Carver. I'm talking about he my great granddaddy first cousin, George Washington Carver. I'm gonna be showing all this stuff later on different tapes though, but I don't want to. But Tookie is my grandma's cousin, and then he's on my granddaddy's side. So the Washingtons and Williams are always married into each other. We always it's a lot of Washingtons and Williams that married into each other.
So out of the Midwest territory, the Browns, which was out of the Ohio, Indiana area, going into Illinois, the Browns was the largest clan.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So a lot of these family names was clan, and that's why Cleveland's mascot is Cleveland Browns.
Wow. Go ahead, Roy. Crackheads.
We got to keep our culture and everything moving on the land.
Wow.
Because we got to be able to reclaim it at the end of the close of the age. So now we want to know where the money gonna come from. It's called the national debit. It was the national debt for the corporation, but when we seized everything, it became the national debit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to Google, Elder, type in that, how much is the national debt? This how much money they got that's available to rebuild on the land. That's liquid available.
Right now, the national debt says how much does the government pay the interest? No, I don't want to know that. I want to know what the national debt is. Hold on, let me try something real quick. How much is national debt now today? Try that. Okay, all right, it's $31.38 trillion.
Right. That's how much money right now that we have in a reserve currency. It's probably in crypto that's going to go back to the families. We're going to use the Small Business Administration to teach family banking setup so families can reclaim what was rightfully theirs to begin with.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So what do Trump play a part being that in 20, I don't even think he's going to make it, man, because I think they preparing for some. I got a lot of videos from people. I'm going to be talking about that later from these Humvees. One dude said he opened up the back of a trailer on a Walmart parking lot and had a whole bunch of those robots in the back. And they had these Humvees out there. They moving all these Humvees to Walmarts. So maybe they know that we gonna, because that's involved with FEMA, right? So maybe they know that they finna have to get up out of here. It's over, and they gonna just leave us hanging. The banks and everything just gonna shut down. We gonna be they gonna send us into hysteria if we don't know if we don't prepare for this. If we don't prepare for them to cut us off and leave us on our own. You know what I'm saying? With the money and all that. We don't need the money, but people gonna panic and it's gonna cause chaos for a little while until people calm down and realize we don't need money. We could just trade. Like you got corn, I got rice. Let's trade. But niggas,
that's the barter system.
Yeah.
But see, the currency system, if it ain't anything that's not corrupt, it'll work. If you get the corrupt hands, the dirty hands out of the pot, then it'll run functional.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what financial system we gonna be on when it's done, but I know whatever it is, it's gonna be better than debt-based reserve currency, because that's what we under.
Yeah,
debt-based reserve currency.
Wow.
Monopoly money.
Yep, pretty much fiat. Yep. Yeah. But I tell you, every time Rod come on, this nigga drop some shit on some. That's why Nick, you could have dropped the mic on that Indian school piece. You could have dropped the mic and walk off stage after that. That was a wrap right there. I'm telling you, man. You could have just dropped the mic while that shit right there. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do with that. Oh man, you don't even know, man, what you just did with that. Oh man.
Yeah, I told you that, but you probably don't remember, but one of our earlier joints together, we went over that information, where they came from.
Yeah, you did. And the $5.
The only thing is, I didn't show you where they was trained to pretend to be us at.
Mm-hmm. But that man, because I was wondering, I was thinking they was they was some of these people were our children. Some of them wasn't even our children. They just were trained to act like us. Wow, that's crazy. That's devastating. It's devastating. At the same time, it's good information. It's like a whole bunch of shit just going on in my mind just off of knowing that one piece. That these motherfuckers went to, but you said, we actually trained them to preserve our shit.
Yeah, Nova Ali said, he pull up Nova Ali quote, the one with the red circle around it.
Okay, let's see.
In the oral statements and prophecy, he said he was gonna make the it's in the folder.
Oh yeah, you showed it to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, yeah, the one with the red circle on it. Let me go to that. It's down here.
There you go.
Right here, this one right here.
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's not that one. It says the only thing that the word would surprise me if it's a more would do right. God damn, no, Ali going hard on the most.
You see that red circle at the top?
Right here.
Yeah, that's it. See, this is good. When they be telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, I go pull something like this up. Number 45, that's the big gun.
This is done by when you view the colors, you say, how do they make me feel? Because when you understand how the colors make you feel, as your cortex broadens, you will see people just outside of your field of vision, and you be like, where the fuck that motherfucker come from? And when you look direct, you know they there, but you can't really see them. Yeah, that's the elders. But you will be able to perceive them when you tie your visual cortex to your emotion, because you can sense when somebody's close to you.
Okay.
Right? That's the same faculty you're developing when you study in Tantra.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Qigong is teaching you how to work with energy, but more importantly, it's teaching you how to read the energy. In Qigong, you can't do Qigong healing if you can't sense the energy field in detail of the other person. All of these is our ancient sciences. That's all of that stuff that they talk about in India. India got one of the most expansive historical medical treatises on earth herbs. But we act like it's all folklore. It's just some made up shit they said to try to sound deep, like these Moors be doing.
you always coming at the Moors, Rod.
Only the dirty ones. I got mad love for the righteous Moors.
Indeed.
I could sit here and name righteous Moors for 5 hours straight without ever repeating the same one.
It's deep.
That's how many righteous Moors I know. Dirty Moors, I don't know that many. But the ones that's dirty, they some dirty motherfuckers.
So you was just talking about the eyes, Rod. Now I've heard people say, and it's funny, Dr. B Series was just talking about the eyes. Last night we was talking briefly about the eyes and how it's an instrument. Well, we're going to that later, but let me ask you this. I heard people say to protect your heart when you're around people, make sure you protect your heart. You know, that girl will break your heart, or that dude will break your heart, protect your heart. But I don't hear a lot of people say to protect your eyes. Now, if eyes are the windows to the soul, What's up with our eyes? Should we have more protection barriers? Is that why we should wear sunglasses? Or talk to me about the protection of our eyes.
Look, all the protection we need, we born with it. We just gotta activate it. Right? Like the only reason you gotta protect your heart because you're born ignorant. If you was one of the wise ones, if you was born fully sentient, you ain't never got to worry about if you gonna get your heart broken. Now that ain't even an option.
You ever notice somebody looking at you and they're like trying to gaze in your eyes, like try to be a vampire? That ever happened to you? Those
sociopaths. I talked to serial killers in the joint, and some of the motherfuckers, there's nothing in there. I'm talking about a window to the soul. They windows broke out.
Empty vessel.
Empty vessel. And all they can do is recite how many motherfuckers they killed and how they killed them. And most of them didn't get caught for most of the dirt they did. But when you look at them, you know they not like us. Right? Then you got the ones, big lip ass motherfuckers, always got a kind game to run on you. Come here, good brother. Let me holler at you for a minute. Don't good brother me. If you want all my motherfucking alarms to go off, call me good brother. When they come with that good brother shit, they coming with a kind game.
Oh man, come here. Oh man.
That mean they finna try to do something nefarious, and you gonna be end up being the one holding the bag as victim or loser. It don't matter which one you gonna call it.
What was it you before that said talking about the eyes, the shape of the eyes mean you come from a different part of the galaxy? Was it you that said that? Talking about the different.
Dr. Carson eyes, unmistakably the eyes of his daddy. I mean, the eyes of Inky.
You talking about Billy Carson?
When you look in his eyes, just like you looking straight at Inky, but he ain't Inky.
Shit.
He don't put enough Captain Kirk emotion in this shit. That's how you know he ain't Inky. Inky is passionate about everything he do. And the only thing he care about, good food, good pussy, and goddamn good wine. He don't care about nothing else.
Man. So would you consider Earth a spaceship? I've heard certain people say that. Would you consider this
I call it spaceship Earth all the time.
That's spaceship Earth. So instead of looking at them as planets, we should look at them as spaceships? Like this whole thing? Saturn.
You got to develop your perception. I call it spaceship Earth for the Wizard of Oz effect. Right. So the ISIS seat is the cockpit. The man behind the curtain is in little bitch ass. Right. So when I say it's spaceship Earth, I'm using that to remind me, not nobody else, that somebody hijacked Earth and we about to take this bitch back because that's the only thing I care about. So I can go about my business. I hate social media. I'm not a public type character. Right. But this information is more critical than what the fuck I feel like.
What's the deal with Akhenaten? Who was Akhenaten? What was he about?
Akhenaten, that's because they cloned him, right? And they named him Barry del Sortoro. He's an Akhenaten clone. So the royal families got a hierarchy of rulership, right? Tut rule was next, and it wasn't supposed to be Tahuti rule for another like 2,000 years. They cloned to make the older royal brother override his son, which was Tut. Right? The boy king, Tutankhamun, right? The boy king was the heir. So when you hear Pac say, am I wrong to fight for what's mine? This is what he's talking about. When he tell you back for everything they owe, no longer oppressed, this is what he's talking about. This his shit. He's supposed to be the one telling y'all this shit right now, but he would have been dead for real and instead of extracted had he started dropping what he needed to drop. So what did he do? They pulled the emergency alert system to planet Earth. Right? So him he was there. It's called the Million Man March. The reason why they had to do the Million Man March, because I'm not going to participate if you niggas not going to get together for something. Y'all got to just stand together one time for something, and I'll tear this bitch up till they give it to you. And nobody wasn't standing up. They all got an excuse. They all after their own bag. They ain't doing nothing for the community. Everybody doing it for selfish game. I don't want no bunch of motherfucking selfish, self-centered, entitled ass feel like they got something coming to them. No, you don't. You got to earn your keep, or you don't need to be here. So when they had the Million Man March, that was a massive alarm system alert. That means that even the dirty Moors forgot what the fuck was going on. Even they got this shit wrote down on the logs in the motherfucking Masonic lodges. And still forgot how to undo the shit. Because they can't read their own fucking code. They got half the keys. They call it broken keys, missing keys. That's because they're not doing the proper due diligence in order to get to a part to close the motherfucking shit out. If you go back and listen to my first dialogue with Todd, she said, as soon as I seen you, I said, here, close it. I'm not here. I don't want none of this shit. If my sisters can't have what's rightfully theirs, I will tear this bitch up. But we brain banging now. And I want to tear some shit up.